The tall, slender figure of Princess Zira moved silently through the metal corridors of the human space station, her blue skin reflecting the dim lighting as she walked. Her large, almond-shaped eyes scanned every detail, committing it all to memory. This was not how she had expected to spend her third-decade celebration, but fate had other plans. The Kralaxian Royal Council thought it would be amusing to offer her as a diplomatic gift to the humans who had recently established contact with their species. It was meant as a joke, a prank that would be reversed within a rotation cycle. But something unexpected happened when Zira met Lily Thompson, the human scientist assigned to be her liaison. Lily was not what Zira expected. Humans were supposed to be primitive, barely evolved apes according to Kralaxian education. Yet Lily showed kindness and intelligence that rivaled any member of the royal court. Her auburn hair fell in waves around a face that Zira found strangely appealing, despite the lack of sensory tendrils and proper cranial ridges. The royal attendants who had traveled with Zira snickered behind her back. They believed this assignment was a fitting punishment for her outspoken ways at court. She had challenged the High Council too many times, questioned their outdated policies on interspecies relations. Her own father, the Grand Sovereign, had agreed to this prank, hoping it would teach her humility. Zira remembered his final words before she boarded the transport ship. "Perhaps a few cycles among the primitives will cool your rebellious spirit, daughter. When you return, you will appreciate the superiority of your own kind." The space station orbited Earth, offering a perfect view of the blue planet. Below, Zira spent hours watching it spin, remembering how her own homeworld looked similar but with more purple in its oceans. She wondered what the surface was like, what strange creatures and plants might exist there. Her first meeting with the human delegation had been awkward. The shorter, stockier beings stared at her with wide eyes, some whispering behind their hands. Others tried to touch her skin, or the delicate tendrils that extended from her temples. These sensory organs allowed Kralaxians to detect electromagnetic fields and emotional states, something humans seemed to lack. Captain Samantha Wells of Earth Alliance stepped forward and bowed deeply. "We are honored by your presence, Princess Zira. This exchange program will benefit both our species." Zira knew it was not an exchange program, but said nothing. She simply nodded her head in the formal greeting of her people. The sooner this farce was over, the better. Later that day, Lily arrived at Zira's quarters, knocking softly on the metal door. The princess was surprised by this gesture. Kralaxian servants would never announce themselves. "Come in," Zira called her translator device, converting her melodic language into harsh human sounds. Lily entered, carrying a small device in her hands. She smiled warmly, her teeth showing in a way that would be considered aggressive on Kralax. "Hi there. I'm Lily Thompson. I'm assigned to help you adjust to life on the station and teach you about human culture." Zira stood tall, using her height to intimidate. As she had been taught, "I require no assistance, human. My stay here is temporary." Lily didn't seem intimidated at all. She simply shrugged and placed the device on a table. "This is a language module. It will help you learn English much faster than the translator. Thought you might want to understand us directly." This caught Zira's attention. Learning the human language had not been part of her plans, but knowledge was always valuable. "Why would you give me this?" Lily smiled again. "Because learning about each other is the whole point, isn't it? And between us, those translators miss a lot of nuance. Trust me, you'll get more out of your stay here, if you can understand what we're really saying." Against her better judgment, Zira found herself reaching for the device. Her 6 fingers wrapped around it, feeling its smooth surface. The human was right. Knowledge was power, even knowledge of primitives. Over the next few days, Zira found herself spending more time with Lily than protocol required. The human took her on tours of the station, explaining the various systems and technologies. Zira was surprised to find that humans had developed some innovative solutions to problems that Kralaxians had solved differently. Their adaptive thinking was impressive. Lily showed her the hydroponics bay where earth plants grew under artificial light. The smell was strange but not unpleasant. Zira touched a red flower gently with her fingertips. "It's called a rose," Lily explained. "Considered one of the Most beautiful flowers on Earth. Zira studied it, noting the complex arrangement of petals. We have similar organisms on Krelax, though ours change color with the atmospheric conditions. They shared meals together. Zira carefully analyzing the human food before allowing it near her mouth. Lily laughed at her caution. It's been cleared by your medical team, you know. It's not going to poison you. Zira dipped a finger into the brown substance Lily called chocolate, and then placed it on her tongue. The taste receptors on her palate exploded with sensation. She had never experienced anything like it. This is acceptable, she said, trying to hide her pleasure. Lily grinned as if she knew exactly what Zira was feeling. I thought you'd like that one. We can try ice cream tomorrow. The royal messenger arrived 2 weeks later. His formal robes and superior expression made Lily step back as he entered Zira's quarters. He bowed only slightly, showing the minimum respect required. Your Highness, the Council has determined that this diplomatic exercise has reached its conclusion. You are to return home immediately. The transport awaits. Zira felt a strange sensation in her chest, something like disappointment. She looked at Lily, who stood quietly by the door, her face showing what Zira had learned to recognize as sadness. The princess straightened her spine and looked directly at the messenger. Tell the Council, I have decided to extend my stay. I find these humans worthy of further study. The messenger blinked his secondary eyelids in shock. But Your Highness, this was never meant to be a real assignment. The Council merely wanted to. I am well aware of what the Council intended, interrupted Zira. Nevertheless, I have made my decision as a royal of third decade. I am permitted to choose my own diplomatic assignments. As the messenger sputtered his objections, Zira turned to Lily and switched to careful English, using what she had learned from the language module. You will continue to teach me. Lily Thompson. There is much more I wish to know about humans. Lily's smile was like watching a star go supernova. 6 months passed and Zira became a respected member of the human scientific community. Her knowledge of quantum gravitational fields helped advance human technology by decades. She learned their languages, customs, and strange habits, like consuming liquid stimulants in the morning ritual. Humans called coffee. The Royal Council sent increasingly angry messages demanding her return. They threatened to cut diplomatic ties with Earth to disown her from the royal line. Zira read each message with a calmness that surprised even her. Not long ago, such threats would have sent her rushing back to defend her position. Now they seemed distant and unimportant compared to her work on Earth. Lily and Zira grew closer, working side by side in the laboratory. Their friendship blossomed into something neither species had anticipated. Human emotions were raw and powerful, compared to the measured, calculated feelings of Krelaxians. Zira found herself responding to these emotions, developing feelings that her people would consider chaotic and unrefined. One evening, as they worked late in the lab, Lily asked the question Zira had been avoiding. Why did you really stay? Is it just to study us? Zira put down the complex equation she had been working on and considered the question. The truth was complicated even to her own mind. At first it had been defiance, a way to embarrass the council that had tried to embarrass her. But now I stayed because here I am, valued for my mind, not my bloodline, she finally said. On Krelax I am Princess Zira, 7th daughter of the Grand Sovereign, useful only for political alliances. Here I am Scientist Zira, contributor to human knowledge. Lily nodded her understanding. Her hand reached out hesitantly before touching Zira's blue fingers. The contact sent a small shock through Zira's sensory system. Krelaxians rarely touched outside of family units. I'm glad you stayed, Lily said softly. Whatever the reason, the human space station became too small for Zira's. Research Captain Wells arranged for her to visit Earth itself, the first alien royal to set foot on human soil. The media was in a frenzy. Governments argued over security protocols, but Zira remained calm through it all. With Lily by her side, she felt prepared for whatever awaited her on the blue planet. The shuttle landed in a place called Colorado, at a research facility nestled among tall mountains. The air was thinner than on the station, but filled with scents that made Zira's sensory tendrils flutter with excitement. Plant life, animal life, water, soil, all mixing together in a complex symphony. Her sensitive skin registered the warmth of the sun, the cool breeze, the subtle changes in humidity. She stood motionless for several minutes, absorbing it all. Beautiful, isn't it? Lily asked. Watching Zira's reaction, it is alive in a way space is not. Zira replied. My homeworld has similar diversity, but the patterns are different. The colors, the shapes, even the way light moves through your atmosphere. Dr. Helen Carter, the facility director, approached with a welcoming committee. She was older than Lily, with gray in her dark hair and lines around her eyes that Zira had learned indicated both age and frequent smiling. Welcome to Earth, Princess Zira. We are honored by your presence. Zira nodded formally. Thank you for receiving me. I look forward to continuing my research here. The facility was impressive by human standards. Large laboratories filled with equipment, humans of various colors and shapes, worked together in a way that reminded Zira of the Royal Science Academy on Krelax, except here, there seemed to be less hierarchy, more collaboration. Helen showed them to their quarters, 2 separate rooms connected by a shared living space. These will be your homes while you're with us. We tried to adjust the environmental controls in your room, Princess, to match Krelaxian preferences. Zira was touched by this consideration. You have done well. The conditions are acceptable. That night, unable to sleep in the strange new environment, Zira stood by the window looking out at the moonlit mountains. Lily joined her, wrapped in what humans called a robe. Can't sleep. Either, Lily asked softly. Zira shook her head. My species requires less rest than yours. But it is not that. The energy of this place is stimulating. My sensory tendrils are processing much information. Lily looked curious, as she always did when Zira mentioned biological differences. What kind of information? Zira considered how to explain. The air currents carry particles that tell stories of distant places. The electromagnetic fields fluctuate in patterns that indicate life processes. The thermal variations speak of geological activities beneath the surface. Your world speaks constantly to those who can listen. Lily smiled. That sounds amazing. I wish I could experience it the way you do. For a moment, Zira felt a strange longing to share her perceptions with the human, an impossible desire. Krelaxian sensory sharing was only possible between genetically compatible individuals. And yet the wish remained. They worked together for weeks in the Earth facility, Zira focusing on applications of her gravitational field theories, Lily developing interfaces that would allow human systems to utilize the advanced concepts. Zira's presence accelerated human technological development in ways that made some human governments nervous. One evening, Helen called them to a secure meeting room. A communication from Krelax has arrived. For you, Princess, she said, her expression serious. It's from the Grand Sovereign himself. Zira felt her secondary heart quicken. My father has deigned to contact me directly. This is unexpected. The screen activated, showing the imposing figure of the Grand Sovereign. His blue skin darker than Zira's. His sensory tendrils longer and adorned with the metallic bands of his station. His expression was stern, as always. Daughter, your behavior continues to disappoint the royal house. Your extended stay among the humans has become a matter of significant political concern. The council demands your immediate return to face judgment for your actions. Zira stood tall, facing her father with a calm she had developed during her time with humans. Honorable Father, I must respectfully decline. The work I do here has value to both our species. My research into gravitational field manipulation will benefit Krelax as much as Earth. The Grand Sovereign's tendrils twitched with irritation. You forget your place. Your duty is to your bloodline, not to alien science. Zira felt Lily step closer to her, offering silent support. I have not forgotten my place, Father. I have found it. It is here among those who value knowledge above tradition. The Grand Sovereign leaned forward, his voice dropping to a dangerous tone. If you do not return voluntarily, daughter, I will be forced to send those who will bring you back regardless of your wishes. Consider carefully your next actions. This conversation is ended. The screen went dark, leaving a heavy silence in the room. Helen spoke first. That sounded like a threat. It was Zira confirmed. They will send extraction specialists, highly trained warriors. Their goal will be to return me to Krelax, willing or not. Lily looked alarmed. Can they do that? Wouldn't that be an act of war against Earth? Zira shook her head. They would not consider it so. In their eyes, I am property of the royal house, a resource to be recovered, not a person making a choice. Helen straightened her shoulders. Well, on Earth you are a person with rights and choices. The Earth Alliance will not allow anyone to take you against your will. Zira felt something warm spreading through her chest at these words. Something like gratitude, though more intense. I thank you for your protection. But I would not wish to bring conflict to your world. Perhaps it would be better if I left. Lily grabbed her hand firmly. No, you belong here with us. The work we're doing matters. They can't just take you because you're a princess or... The first time in her life, Zira felt truly seen. Not for her title or her bloodline, but for herself. For who she had become. The feeling was powerful, overwhelming almost. She looked at Lily and Helen, at the determination in their faces, and made her decision. I will stay. We will continue our work and we will face whatever comes together. The extraction team arrived 3 weeks later. Their ship entered Earth orbit under the guise of a diplomatic vessel. Captain Wells contacted the research facility, immediately warning of possible infiltration. Earth Alliance security forces arrived, within hours surrounding the facility with armed guards. Zira felt both guilty and grateful as she watched the humans prepare to defend her. It was strange to see these beings. She had once considered primitive, now standing ready to face Krelaxian warriors for her sake. Lily noticed her distress and placed a hand on her shoulder. This isn't your fault, remember that. How can it not be my fault? Zira asked. My father's pride has brought this danger to your world. Lily shook her head. No, your father's. Pride is his problem, not yours. You made a choice that was yours to make. His response is on him, not you. This concept was new to Zira. On Krelax, the actions of the royal family were always considered as one. The individual was merely an extension of the bloodline. The idea that she could make choices separate from her family identity was still strange to her. A security specialist named Maya Rogers approached them, her dark skin gleaming in the artificial light. We have intelligence that 4 Krelaxian operatives have landed in Denver. They're moving this way, should be here by nightfall. Zira nodded, her sensory tendrils twitching nervously. 4 is the standard number for royal extraction teams. They will be highly skilled. Maya seemed unimpressed. We have 20 trained security personnel plus Earth Alliance military support. They're not taking you anywhere. Lily squeezed Zira's hand. Maybe we can resolve this peacefully. Talk to them. Explain the situation. Zira appreciated Lily's optimism, but knew better extraction teams do not negotiate. They complete their mission or die trying. It is their code. As night fell, Zira felt a familiar presence. Her sensory tendrils detected the unique electromagnetic patterns of Krelaxian life forms approaching. They are here, she whispered. They are trying to bypass your security systems. Maya tapped her communication device. They just took out 2 of our perimeter sensors. How did you know? I can sense them, Zira explained. My species evolved as both predator and prey. We can detect others of our kind from considerable distance. Maya looked impressed. That could be useful. Can you tell exactly where they are? Zira closed her eyes, focusing her sensory tendrils. They are approaching from the east. 2 are circling. To the north, the others remain at a distance, probably coordinating. Maya relayed this information to her team, then turned back to Zira. We need to move you to the secure room now. Princess, standard protocol. Lily looked worried. Will that be enough? These are advanced aliens we're talking about. Maya grimaced. Probably not, but it's our best option right now. The room has scrambling technology that should block any tracking devices, and the walls are reinforced. They hurried through the facility corridors, passing nervous scientists and determined security personnel. The secure room was in the lowest level, a small space with metal walls and a single reinforced door. Zira felt her breathing quicken as they entered. The space reminded her of punishment. Chambers on Kralax Lily seemed to notice her discomfort. "It's okay," she said softly. "We're just staying here until the threat is neutralized." Maya positioned guards outside the door and gave them final instructions. "No one enters without my direct authorization." "Understood." The hours passed slowly. Zira and Lily sat side by side on a small bench, occasionally speaking in low voices. Zira explained Kralaxian extraction tactics, while Lily shared stories of her childhood, trying to distract them both from the danger. Suddenly, Zira stiffened, her sensory tendrils vibrating intensely. "They are inside the facility," she whispered, as if confirming her words. Alarms began to sound throughout the building. Maya contacted her team, receiving reports of intruders disabling security systems with technology beyond human capability. The sound of weapons fire echoed through the corridors. Getting closer by the minute, Lily looked at Zira, her face pale but determined. "Remember what I said. This isn't your fault. Whatever happens." The door to the secure room burst open with a shower of sparks. Two tall Kralaxians stood in the doorway, their combat suits gleaming in the emergency lighting. Behind them lay unconscious human guards. Zira recognized the lead warrior, Torak, a distant cousin known for his absolute loyalty to the Grand Sovereign, Princess Zira. "You will return with us immediately." Torak commanded, his voice cold. "Your father awaits." Zira stood tall, facing him with a calmness she did not feel. "I will not return, Torak. I have chosen my path here." Torak's tendrils flattened against his skull in anger. "It is not your place to choose. The bloodline commands you obey." Lily stepped forward, placing herself between Zira and the warriors. "She has asylum here. You have no right to take her." Torak barely glanced at Lily before raising his weapon. "This does not concern you, human. Stand aside or be eliminated." What happened next would forever change Zira's understanding of humans. Lily did not move. Instead, she spoke loudly into her communication device. "Now, Maya." Suddenly, the lights in the corridor went out. Darkness enveloped everything for a split second before emergency lighting kicked in. In that moment of confusion, Maya Rogers appeared behind the Kralaxian warriors, her weapon already firing. A stun pulse hit Torak directly in the center of his back. He fell forward, his nervous system temporarily paralyzed. The second warrior turned with incredible speed, firing at Maya. She dove for cover as Lily grabbed Zira, pulling her toward a side panel in the wall that had opened silently. "This way," she whispered. "It's a maintenance tunnel." Zira followed Lily into the narrow passage, hearing the sounds of combat behind them. Maya and her team engaging the remaining Kralaxians. The tunnel was dark and dusty, clearly not meant for regular use. They crawled for what seemed like hours before emerging in what appeared to be a vehicle bay. A human male waited beside a transport, his expression serious. "Dr. Thompson," he said, nodding. "To Lily, Captain Wells ordered me to get you and the princess to the secondary facility." Lily helped Zira into the vehicle. "We have to hurry," she explained. "The other extraction team members will be tracking us," as the transport sped away from the research facility. Zira looked back, seeing flashes of light that indicated ongoing conflict. She felt sick knowing humans were fighting, possibly dying because of her. The journey to the secondary facility took several hours through mountain roads and tunnels, designed to confuse pursuit. The vehicle finally stopped inside another building, this one smaller, more discreet. Captain Wells met them, looking tired but relieved. "They've been contained," she informed them. "2 casualties on our side. None fatal. 3 of the Kralaxians are in custody. The 4th escaped." Zira felt relief wash over her, but it was quickly replaced by concern. "What will happen now?" Wells' expression was grim. "We've got an interstellar incident on our hands. The Kralaxian government is demanding the return of their operatives and you. Princess, the Earth Alliance is refusing, stating that the unauthorized incursion was an act of aggression." This was exactly what Zira had feared, war between species because of her. "My father will not back down," she said quietly. He cannot lose face by allowing me to defy him. Wells nodded grimly. That's our assessment as well. But neither will Earth back down. You came to us, peacefully contributed to our scientific advancement, and asked for protection. We won't betray that trust. Lily, who had been silent until now, spoke up. There must be another option. Some way to resolve this without conflict. Zira considered the situation from all angles, drawing on her royal education in diplomacy. There is one possibility, she said slowly. According to Kralaxian law, a royal who has completed their third decade may formally separate from the bloodline. It has happened only twice in our history, but the precedent exists. What would that mean exactly? Wells asked I would renounce my royal status. Zira explained I would no longer be Princess Zira, seventh daughter of the Grand Sovereign. I would be simply Zira, a private citizen. My father would lose his legal claim to control my movements. Would he accept? That Lily asked. His pride would be wounded, Zira admitted. But he would have a way to save face. He could tell the royal court that he disowned me for my inappropriate behavior, rather than admitting he failed to bring me back. Wells looked thoughtful. That could work. But would it be enough to prevent further extraction attempts? Zira nodded. The law is clear. A separated royal is no longer of interest to the bloodline. To continue pursuit would be to admit the separation was not recognized, which would undermine the Grand Sovereign's own authority. Then that's what we'll do, Lily said firmly. If that's what you want. Zira looked at Lily, seeing the concern in her eyes. This human cared about her choices, her feelings in a way no one on Krelax ever had. Yes, she said with certainty. I choose this path, I choose Earth, I choose freedom. The separation ceremony was conducted via subspace communication. Zira stood before the screen, her posture perfect as she had been taught since childhood. On the other side, the Grand Sovereign and the entire Royal Council watched with expressions ranging from anger to satisfaction. Zira spoke the ritual words clearly, her voice never wavering. I, Zira, seventh daughter of the House of Kalax, formally request separation from the royal bloodline. I surrender all titles, privileges, and obligations. Of my station, I choose the path of the individual over the path of the collective. The Grand Sovereign stared at her, his tendrils rigid with suppressed emotion. You understand the consequences of this action, daughter. Once done, it cannot be undone. You will be as dead to us. Zira felt Lily standing behind her, a silent support. I understand and accept these terms. I am no longer daughter, I am no longer princess. I am Zira, individual. The Grand Sovereign raised his six-fingered hand and made the cutting gesture that finalized the separation. It is done. The bloodline is purified of your presence. May you find what you seek among the primitives. The connection ended, leaving Zira standing in silence. She felt strangely light, as if a great weight had been lifted from her. She was free, truly free for the first time in her life. Lily stepped forward hesitantly. Are you okay? Zira turned to her, a small smile forming on her lips. I am more than okay. I am myself at last, the Earth Alliance offered. Zira official asylum and citizenship in recognition of her contributions to human science. Captain Wells arranged for permanent quarters at the Colorado facility, where Zira could continue her research. The extraction team was returned to Krelax, with a formal warning against future incursions into Earth territory. Weeks passed without incident. Zira and Lily fell into a comfortable routine, working together during the day, sharing meals and conversations in the evening. Their relationship deepened in ways neither had anticipated. Zira learning to understand human emotions, Lily learning to appreciate Krelaxian perspectives. On the anniversary of her arrival on Earth, Lily surprised Zira with an invitation. I want you to meet my family, she said. They live in Montana, not far from here. My mom has been asking about you for months. Zira felt a flutter of nervousness. Your family unit wishes to evaluate. Me, Lily laughed. No, they just want to meet you. That's what families do. They meet the people who are important to the people they love. The concept was foreign to Zira. On Krelax, family units existed primarily for genetic continuity and political alliances. The idea of meeting someone simply because they were important to a loved one was strange but appealing. The journey to Montana took several hours by ground transport. Zira watched the landscape change from mountains to rolling plains. The vast open spaces reminded her of the southern regions of Krelax, but the vegetation was different, greener, more varied. Lily's family home was a simple structure made of wood surrounded by tall trees. A woman with gray-streaked hair stood on the front steps watching their arrival. Her face showed the same smile Zira had come to love, and Lily Diane Thompson welcomed Zira with surprising warmth. "So you're the famous alien scientist my daughter won't stop talking about. Welcome to our home." Zira's formal greeting felt out of place in the casual atmosphere. "I am honored by your reception, Diane Thompson. Please just call me Diane," Lily's mother said, waving them inside. The house was filled with objects Zira did not recognize. Pictures of humans at various life stages, colorful fabrics draped over furniture, plants growing in containers. A younger human female who resembled Lily emerged from another room. "This is my sister, Kate," Lily explained. Kate studied Zira with open curiosity. "So do those tentacle things on your head actually sense emotions?" "Mom," Lily protested. "That's rude." Zira found the direct question refreshing, actually. "I do not mind. My sensory tendrils detect electromagnetic fields, including those generated by emotional states in living beings. Yes, I can sense strong emotions, though human patterns are different from Krelaxian ones." Kate grinned. "That's so cool. Can you tell what I'm feeling right now?" Zira focused her tendrils on Kate, picking up the unique signature of her neural activity. "You are excited, curious, and slightly nervous. A normal response to meeting someone from another species." Kate looked impressed. "That's exactly right. This is like having a living lie detector in the house." Throughout the evening, Zira observed the Thompson family interactions with fascination. They spoke over each other, laughed together, disagreed openly, yet maintained obvious affection. The dynamic was chaotic by Krelaxian standards, but there was a warmth to it that Zira found appealing. After dinner, they sat on the porch swing watching the moon rise above the mountains. The night air was cool but pleasant. Zira felt a sense of peace she had rarely known. Lily leaned against her, their shoulders touching. "You seem happy," she observed. "I am," Zira confirmed. "This place, your family, it is different from anything I knew on Krelax. There is freedom here to be imperfect, to speak openly, to show emotion without calculation." Lily's hand found hers, their fingers intertwining. "Is that good or bad?" "It is good," Zira said simply. "Very good." They sat in comfortable silence for several minutes before Zira spoke again. "I have been researching human relationships," she said carefully. "The bonds between your family members are different from Krelaxian bonds, but they seem stronger in some ways." "More resilient," Lily nodded. "That's because they're based on love, not obligation or genetics. We choose to love each other even when it's difficult." This concept of choice fascinated Zira. On Krelax, relationships were predetermined by bloodlines and political necessity. The idea that beings could choose their connections was revolutionary. "I have also researched pair bonding in human culture," Zira continued. "The practice you call marriage." Lily turned to look at her expression, curious. "Yes. What about it?" Zira hesitated, then continued. "The connection between us has grown beyond scientific collaboration, beyond friendship. I believe what I feel for you would be classified as love, in human terms." Lily's breath caught her pulse quickening in a way Zira's tendrils could easily detect. "I feel the same way," she whispered. That night under the stars, Zira made another decision that would forever change the relationship between their species. "I want to have a child," she told Lily as they sat watching the stars. Lily nearly spilled her drink. "But our species are completely different. Genetically compatible reproduction is impossible." Zira smiled, the expression she had learned from humans, the corners of her mouth turning up in a way that still felt foreign to her facial muscles. "Krelaxian reproduction is not like yours. We can adapt genetic material from any sentient species. It was designed that way to ensure our survival across the galaxy. You mean you could have a child that would be partly human? Lily asked, her voice a mixture of wonder and disbelief. Not partly, Zira corrected. The child would be both fully Kralaxian and fully human, a perfect bridge between our worlds. The first of a new kind. Lily stared at her for a long moment. Do you want that? A child with me, Zira considered the question, with the seriousness it deserved. Yes, she finally said, I want to create new life with you, a being that would represent the best of both our species, a symbol of what is possible when different worlds come together. Lily leaned forward and pressed, her lips to Zira's in the human gesture of affection Zira had learned to appreciate. Yes, she whispered against Zira's skin. Let's do it. When they returned to the research facility, Zira began preparations. She explained the process to the human medical team, who watched in fascination as she assembled the embryonic chamber, a technology far beyond current human capability. The genetic adaptation would take time, careful adjustments to ensure compatibility without losing the essential qualities of either species. Lily donated cellular material, which Zira carefully processed through Kralaxian biotechnology. Word of their plan spread quickly through the facility, then to Earth Alliance headquarters, and finally to the Kralaxian embassy. The reaction was immediate and predictable. The Royal Council sent a formal protest declaring the genetic experiment an abomination. Religious and conservative human groups organized protests outside the facility. Some scientists expressed concern about unknown consequences. Governments debated the ethics and legalities through it all. Zira and Lily continued their work focused on the miracle they were creating together. Helen Carter arranged additional security for the facility, Captain Wells ensuring that no further extraction attempts could succeed. 3 months into the process, Zira detected a familiar electromagnetic signature approaching the facility, Kralaxian, but not warriors this time, diplomats. She informed Captain Wells, who arranged a secure meeting. The Kralaxian ambassador, an older male named Valor, entered the conference room, his formal robes marking his high status. He bowed slightly to Zira, a courtesy she had not expected. Former Princess, the Royal Council has sent me to deliver a message regarding your genetic experiment. Zira stood tall and proud. It is not an experiment, Ambassador. It is a child. My child. And Dr. Thompson's Valor seemed uncomfortable, his tendrils twitching. The Council views this action as a threat to Kralaxian genetic purity. They demand that you cease immediately. I am no longer subject to Council demands, Zira reminded him. The separation ceremony was complete, and binding. Valor nodded. This is understood. However, there are concerns about the knowledge you possess. Kralaxian reproductive technology is considered a state secret. Your use of it with alien genetic material is unprecedented. When the embryonic chamber finally chimed, indicating the completion of the gestation process, both human and Kralaxian medical teams stood ready. The chamber opened with a hiss of steam, revealing a small form with pale blue skin and a tuft of auburn hair. Her eyes, when they opened, were human in shape, but had the golden iridescence of a Kralaxian royal. Lily gasped, tears streaming down her face as she reached for the child. Zira gently lifted the infant, her 6 fingers cradling the tiny form, with infinite care. The baby had 5 fingers on each hand, a compromise between species. Her sensory tendrils were shorter than a pure Kralaxian, but fully functional. She is perfect. Zira whispered, feeling emotions too complex for words. Helen Carter monitored the infant's vital signs with specialized equipment. Her readings are stable, she confirmed. Both human and Kralaxian biological systems functioning in harmony. It's remarkable. They named her Hope, a simple human word that carried the weight of both species. Future Zira had wanted a traditional Kralaxian name, but Lily suggested Hope. Instead, she represents everything we're hoping for. Lily explained, a future where our species can come together, where differences become strengths, not barriers. News of Hope's birth spread across Earth and to Kralax. The first successful human-alien hybrid became an instant sensation. Media outlets demanded interviews. Scientific journals requested data. Religious leaders debated the theological implications. Politicians scrambled to develop policies for this unprecedented situation. The Kralaxian Royal Council sent another delegation, this one led by a senior geneticist named Malar. Her purpose was ostensibly to verify the genetic compatibility and stability of the child. But Zira suspected other motives. Malar examined Hope with cold efficiency, her instruments scanning the infant's body from every angle. The child appears stable. She finally admitted, "The genetic integration is more successful than our models." Predicted Zira held Hope protectively as she replied, "Of course it is. Your models failed to account for the adaptive qualities of human DNA. Their genetic diversity gives them resilience, our pure bloodlines." Lack Mailer looked at her sharply. "That is dangerously close to heresy. Former princess, such ideas undermine the foundation of our society." "Perhaps your society needs undermining," Zira suggested. "Some foundations are built on false assumptions." The geneticist completed her examination and departed. Her report to the Royal Council was formal and technical, but included a recommendation that surprised Zira. The hybrid child should be monitored but not interfered with. Her existence provides valuable scientific data. This clinical assessment was far from the welcome Zira had hoped for, but it was better than outright rejection. It gave Hope a measure of protection from Kralaxian interference. As the weeks passed, Hope grew rapidly, showing traits from both species. Her skin remained blue, but developed a warmer tone closer to human coloring. Her sensory tendrils became more sensitive than Zira's, allowing her to detect subtle emotional changes in those around her. She began vocalizing in ways that combined Kralaxian melodic tones with human language patterns. Lily took family leave from her research position to care for Hope with Zira. They created a home together in a small house near the research facility, filling it with books, toys, and plants from both worlds. Hope was 3 months old when the message arrived from Kralax. It was marked with the royal seal indicating it came directly from the Grand Sovereign himself. Zira opened it with trembling fingers, uncertain what to expect. The message was brief and formal. The Grand Sovereign recognizes the child, Hope Thompson Zira, as a being of significance to interspecies relations. Her status as descendant of the royal bloodline is acknowledged. A formal representative will be sent to evaluate her development. Lily read the message over Zira's shoulder. "Is this good news?" she asked. Zira nodded slowly. "It is unexpected news. My father is acknowledging Hope as my child, and by extension as part of the royal lineage, despite my separation. This is unprecedented. What does it mean for us?" "For Hope it means," Zira said carefully, "that she will have protection under Kralaxian law. No one can harm her or take her from us without facing the Grand Sovereign's wrath. It also means my father is more adaptable than I believed possible." The formal representative arrived 2 weeks later. Zira was shocked to discover it was her own mother, the Grand Consort Ilara. She had not seen her mother since leaving Kralax. Ilara entered their home with regal dignity, her elaborate robes and jeweled tendrils marking her high status. But when she saw Hope, her formal demeanor cracked. She reached out one 6-fingered hand, stopping just short of touching the child. "She has your eyes," Ilara whispered. The royal gold Zira nodded, feeling unexpected emotion at her mother's presence. "She has much from both her heritage lines." Ilara turned to Lily, studying her with interest. "You are the human genetic donor." Lily stood tall, meeting the Grand Consort's gaze. Hope's mother, yes. Along with Zira. Ilara seemed to appreciate Lily's directness. "You have created something remarkable together, something that changes everything." Over the next few days, Ilara spent hours observing Hope, documenting her development, taking genetic samples with Zira and Lily's permission. She asked countless questions about human child-rearing practices, Earth customs, education systems. On her final evening, she sat with Zira alone while Lily put Hope to bed. "The Grand Sovereign does not know. I am telling you this," she said, her voice low. But your father watches the recordings of Hope daily. He has ordered a special chamber built in the palace to display them. Zira was stunned. He shows interest in her. Elara nodded. He would never admit it. But yes, the child has affected him. Perhaps because she carries the royal gold in her eyes, perhaps because she represents something he never imagined possible. A new path forward. When Elara departed, she left behind a small crystal, an ancient Kralaxian tradition, she explained, a gift from grandparent to grandchild. It contains memories, knowledge, experiences that Hope can access when she is older. It will help her understand her Kralaxian heritage. 5 years passed quickly. Hope started school surrounded by human children, who had grown used to seeing the blue-skinned girl in their community. She showed aptitude for both human music and Kralaxian mathematics, developing in ways neither species had predicted. The Kralaxian Royal Council, seeing the genetic success and, fearing human military response, officially recognized Hope as a member of the royal family. A new embassy was established in Washington with Zira as ambassador. Her scientific knowledge and unique perspective made her invaluable in diplomatic negotiations. Lily continued her research, developing new technologies based on their combined knowledge. She and Zira were formally married in a ceremony that blended traditions from both worlds. Captain Wells, now Admiral, served as honor witness, while Helen Carter walked Lily down the aisle. Diane and Kate Thompson decorated the venue with flowers from Earth and crystal formations from Kralax. Hope, at age 5, already understood her unique position. "I am a bridge between worlds," she told a human reporter who interviewed her for a documentary. Her golden eyes serious, her small sensory tendrils quivering with emotion. "I belong to both and to neither. I am just me." The Grand Sovereign never visited Earth personally, but he sent gifts on Hope's birthday each year: elaborate Kralaxian toys, educational materials, recordings of royal ceremonies. Over time, the gifts became more personal. A drawing he had made as a child, a poem written in the ancient royal script, a small piece of Kralaxian soil preserved in crystal so she could touch a piece of her ancestral world. Other Kralaxians followed Zira's path, seeking knowledge and connection on Earth. Humans traveled to Kralax, studying the alien culture and bringing their own perspectives. The initial prank that had sent a princess to live among primitives had evolved into the most significant cultural exchange in the history of either species. Zira, watching her daughter play beneath the Montana sky with Lily by her side, reflected on the strange journey that had brought her here. What had begun as a cruel prank had transformed into the most important diplomatic union in history. And on a personal level, it had given her something her royal upbringing never had: true connection and purpose. The stars would never look the same to either species again. Humanity had proven itself worthy of the galaxy in ways the Kralaxians had never imagined. And a princess who had once been offered as a joke had found her true destiny among the stars, creating a bridge between worlds that would last for generations. As the sun set over the mountains, Zira took Lily's hand and smiled. The joke, she said, was on them all along. Hope ran to her mother's, her small blue hand reaching for theirs, forming a circle of connection that spanned worlds. "What joke, Mama?" she asked, her golden eyes curious. Zira lifted her daughter into her arms. "The best kind," she answered. "The kind that brings people together instead of pushing them apart. The kind that changes everything," Lily added, kissing Hope's forehead. Hope seemed to consider this, her sensory tendrils picking up the love that flowed between her parents. "Then we should make more jokes," she decided. Zira and Lily laughed together under the darkening sky as stars began to appear. Hope pointed upward. "Which one is Kralax?" she asked. Zira pointed to a distant blue point of light barely visible to human eyes. "That one. The home of your ancestors. And Earth is the home of my other ancestors," Hope said. "And here is the home of me."